And happening now, the search for a notorious Rochester mobster who escaped from federal custody in Florida. Doug is here now to bring us the latest on Dominic Taddeo. You haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, quite a story, Don. Taddeo was a hitman who killed 3 men, tried to kill another man twice, and has now escaped, prompting a search from Florida to Rochester. Dominic Taddeo is due to be released from custody in about a year. But the Federal Bureau of Prisons now lists him as escaped after he did not return to a Florida residential center, a halfway house, after an authorized appointment on Monday. This is the day in 1989 when Taddeo was brought back to Rochester 2 years after skipping bail before sentencing in a firearms case. He was finally caught when authorities learned of a planned rendezvous with his brother in Cleveland. Taddeo was later convicted of killing 3 men, including Nicholas Mastrodonato, in his Gates coin store in May of 1982. Taddeo was sentenced to 54 years in prison.
He belongs in a cage. He belongs away from human beings, because anybody that could do what he did to my son in cold blood and daylight doesn't belong to be with human people. He should be locked up forever.
But as of today, Taddeo is missing and presumed on the run. In addition to Mastrodonato, Taddeo also killed Gerald Peluzio in 1982, and in 1983, Dino Tortesi was gunned down outside his mother's home in Irondequoit. Former reporter Jim Redmond covered the Rochester mob for the Democrat and Chronicle, and then for years here at Channel 13.
It always struck me that if these guys put the effort into a legitimate business, they'd all be millionaires.
Taddeo attempted to kill mobster Thomas Murata twice, but Murata survived both shootings, and Taddeo was part of a plot to kill mob figure Thomas Taylor.
And for what? A few bucks? I mean, Dominic Taddeo has supposedly got $500 for each one of the killings he's convicted of and has spent the last several decades in prison because of. I mean, there's no glory in it. There's nothing romantic about it. They're just straight up killers.
Been checking in with the U.S. Marshals all day today. They tell me that they were notified of the Monday escape just yesterday, and in the meantime have been notifying people here who might have an interest in his being on the loose. That includes the federal judge who refused Taddeo's request for an early release for health reasons just 2 years ago.
It brings back a whole nother era in Rochester.
A lot of memories. It was fun talking to Jim today because he has a mind for that. He remembers a lot of detail about it. Sometimes art imitates life, and sometimes the results can make us all a little smarter. A Fairport family says the Oscar-winning film CODA has done just that. As Ginny Ryan reports, they know because CODA is also their story.
Milk. Ketchai Wells' first word came when she was 6 months old. This silent home video captured the moment just like it happened. Ketchai is a CODA, a child of deaf adults.
I like to think that I was raised as a deaf child, I guess, because my parents they muted the TV, so I couldn't really hear anything, I guess. They really didn't expose me to that, like, sound.
Ketchai didn't speak until she was 3 years old. She grew up thinking everyone had deaf parents.
Because most of my friends obviously are hearing, and before I met them, they never even knew what CODA was. Because when I would say that, they think Kodak, like the photography.
The movie CODA tells the story of a family not unlike the Wells, deaf parents and a hearing child. It was the Best Picture winner for Tammy Wells, even before the movie got the Oscar.
Because it's, breaking the boundaries, and it hit the waves, and, everyone can see and learn from the movie.
In the movie, the CODA child wrestles with leaving home to pursue their dream and staying to continue helping their parents communicate, a bridge between the deaf and hearing worlds. While Ketchai Wells has been that bridge, she says her parents raised her to be independent.
My parents have, proven to me time and time that I can go off and do what I want to do. They've, support me with everything I do. So I can't say that I feel like obligated to stay home.
What CODA has done for the Wells is to be a voice for families like theirs, to make children like Ketchai feel they're not alone, and parents like Tammy feel hopeful.
I feel not alone anymore, and there's more recognition, it feels more involved, and, it's still a long way to go. We still have a long way to go, but we'll get there.
Tammy Wells hopes the movie CODA inspires more people to learn American Sign Language so that we can all be that bridge between the hearing and the deaf worlds. We begin with breaking news in Ontario County this afternoon. A 15-year-old boy was caught with a loaded gun at the Red Jacket High School today. Good afternoon. I'm Doug Embledge. That weapon was confiscated by a staff member. Jenny Ryan joins us now live to tell us how all this unfolded today. Jenny?
Doug, it was a frightening situation. The sheriff moments ago telling me a tragedy was averted at Red Jacket High School. It began about 10:15 this morning with a 911 call from the high school office for a student with a loaded handgun. The middle and high school at Red Jacket were quickly put into lockdown. The sheriff says that student, a 15-year-old, was found with a semi-automatic loaded gun and ammunition. A magazine also found. Now, this school does not have metal detectors. The gun was detected during the course of a conversation between the student and a staff member in the high school office.
Upset and seemed to be determined to have a plan, brought the firearm to school, and the staff member engaged him in conversation and kept him calm for some time until the staff member felt that there was an opportunity to do so and was actually able to disarm the student.
The actions of the Red Jacket High School staff to calm and eventually disarm this student were truly heroic. I can't emphasize that enough.
And the DA added that it had not been for the very calm, cool, collected staff members and the empathy they showed, the story today at Red Jacket could have had a much different outcome. That 15-year-old student is in custody facing potentially serious charges. But the other big question is, Doug, how did a 15-year-old get a loaded gun and bring it to school? That is a question that still needs to be answered, and we will continue to follow this story.